I've got an excellent video for you today. We're going to be taking a look at the 990 Pro and comparing it against the T-Force Z540, and I've got other SSDs that are going to, NVMe SSDs that are going to be in this video, so I hope you'll join me on this quick adventure. First up, let's take a look at the product pages. Alright, take a quick look at the product page for the Samsung 990 Pro. It's a SSD we all know and love, or at least probably should, because it performs fairly well. It operates at basically the full spec of PCI Express Gen 4. Very good reliability, high speeds, not very much wattage in terms of its energy usage. And this is the Z540, the product page. It comes in a variety of sizes. I bought the 4TB one because I use it as game storage for those faster load times. It's got a graphene heat dissipation solution. PCI Express Gen 5, so it's really fast, especially compared to other things. But whether or not it can utilize those speeds is something we'll find out in testing. I don't know what else to say about it. It's got this graphene pad. It does have a DRAM just like the other one, the 990 Pro. It's just a feature I personally like to have on my SSDs, and I'm willing to pay a little extra for it. It does mean that it would work really well as a main OS disk if you want to use it that way. 5-year warranty. It's NVMe 2.0, which means I think it's the latest generation of NVMe spec and technology. Before we get into the data, I would like to thank Mint Mobile for being today's video partner. Thanks to Mint Mobile's wireless plans, it is possible to not only switch away from big, expensive mobile companies, but to also have a quality, affordable plan for me and my family. Mint Mobile's premium wireless plan starts at just $15 a month for a 3-month plan. I can get high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. I can bring my own phone along and my current phone number, so you don't need to memorize a new phone number, something I have always found difficult. Switching to Mint is super easy thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most phones have. You can sign up and activate immediately right from your own phone from the comfort of your own home. If your phone doesn't have a digital eSIM card, Mint will ship you a new SIM card free of charge. And right now, new customers, Mint Mobile is offering 50% off their first 12 months of unlimited plan. It's the best deal of the year and only available a limited time. If you're interested in learning more about Mint Mobile and switching, visit my link or by clicking the link in the video description down below. All right, now that we've looked at all of that, this is how it did in Crystal Disk Mark. These are in order from when I purchased it. I know it's not rated high to low, but this is the way I organized them for myself, so I know when I bought SSDs. I just like cataloging stuff, so bear with me, I guess. But we got sequential test, Q8 threads 1, and first up, I want to talk about the 990 Pro. So the one I'm highlighting right now, sort of the fourth from the bottom, was in my computer home lab test system that does a lot of servery stuff in my office. And its performance is right in line with the 970, or I should say 9700X. So two systems, same performance. It kind of goes like, sweet. It's basically saying it doesn't vary based on your system, which is a good thing. It proves kind of reliability or general performance of it. The Performance Plus is that inland one, and its performance is right in line with the 990 Pro in a sequential test at least. The P3 Plus from Crucial, and then this T-Force Cardia A440 is a Gen 4 that was in my i7 11700K system, the only Gen 4 in that one. The 980 is a Gen 4, but it was in a Gen 3 slot. Make that clear distinction. So you can see that, generally speaking, the Gen 4s are all right in line with each other, and the Gen 5 blows them out of the water in sequential testing. I have some Gen 3 SSDs on here, as well as some SATA-based ones at the top. So you can see I've slowly transitioned to more modern ones. I kind of lag behind. And then we got sequential test, Q1 thread 1, similar results, although notice that the reduction in the queuing for fewer tasks, I guess. I'm not a hard drive storage expert, so if I'm explaining this wrong, please leave in the comment section down below. I will incorporate that correction into future videos that I ever do about storage. The T-Force Z540 isn't as much of a performance difference compared to the Gen 4 NVMe's. And the DRAMless P3 Pluses are only a little bit faster than the DRAMed, which is the 980 and the other ones in here that are Gen 3. So you can sort of see how having DRAM does help improve performance of an NVMe SSD. Now taking a look at random performance, this is where you'd really want SSDs over a traditional hard drive. Obviously there's that huge speed improvement, but SSDs have that better random performance. And having a good controller and faster interface does help with randoms pretty significantly. But this is where I talked about go to that controller. So look, the 990 Pro has essentially the same performance as the T-Force Z540. For whatever reason, the 990 Pro in my home server test system, doodad, really did not do particularly well on this test. I may need to revisit it and rerun the test just to double check it, but it did pretty abysmally if I'm being completely honest. The 980 Pro is right in line, but it is slower, operating at Gen 3 speeds than the Gen 4 speed 990 Pro. The T-Force Cardia is at Gen 4 speeds versus the Gen 3 speed 980 Pro, right in line with each other. So there is a limit to how much performance there is in this random performance is kind of what I'm trying to get at. So even if you're on a Gen 5 versus a Gen 4, they can have effectively the same random performance, and it's up to like how well the controller can handle those inputs. At least that's as far as like I can understand it. It could also just be the physical limit of like the interface and how well it can process things. But I think it's more got to do with the controller personally. Again, if I'm incorrect and you're a storage expert, please go ahead and let me know in the comments down below, and I will put something in the text box saying that I was incorrect about that. Random, Q1, Thread 1. Well, by golly, the Gen 3, no, they're faster than the Gen 3s. The Gen 4s are all about the same speed, the Gen as well as the Gen 5. And again, with all these tests, I only ran it through maybe once or twice. If I were to really try to fine-tune what performance was, I need to run it each SSD like 10 times. That puts undue wear on it for my own personal use. But if I were to do this as a true test, so more financing so I could just like destroy SSDs, I could find out on average how fast it is until it starts to wear out. Okay, to take a look at the results from the storage benchmark of 3D Mark for the different SSDs from left to right, because it didn't pull up all the names, which is a tad bit annoying if I do say so. The first one here is the Samsung 990 Pro 4TB in the 970 computer system. Then we got the Z540 also in the same computer system. Then we got the 990 Pro. Why it didn't pull up the results, I don't really know. Then we have my old gaming system, which is now the test system. It's an i7-11700K. And the first SSD here is a Cardia A440 Pro, something like that, Gen 4 SSD, if I'm recalling correctly. Then we have in my computer home lab system, it's got an Inland Performance Pro Plus, something like that one. It's in the other graphs. Then another Samsung 990 Pro in that same system. And then for a short period of time, I was testing out a Crucial. It didn't have a physical RAM on the SSD, and that's why I ended up returning it, because it didn't have the performance that I was specifically looking for. All right, taking a look at the different results. Well, it's pretty clear that a Gen 5 SSD blows everything else out of the water. But by how much? Like realistically in these sort of more real-world-ish type applications. So again, remember, we got the 990, two 990 Pros, the A440, and all these the rest of them are Gen 4 SSDs. So bandwidth, it's about 100 megabits per second faster than megabytes per second faster than even the next fastest. And that helps with access times. Loading Battlefield is 300 megabits per second, bytes per second faster. That's really, I mean, it's measurable, but it's not, wow, so much faster. And do note with these tests, like if I were to run it 100 different times, I get 100 different answers, but you would average results to get what its baseline should be about. So take it all with a little bit of grain of salt. I only ran through it one time because these are my personal SSDs, they're not for testing hardware, and I don't want to wear them out just running tests. So take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, just as a caveat here. Loading Call of Duty, another fairly popular game. It's, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 300 megabytes per second faster. And all the Gen 4 SSDs are pretty similar. The one that was in my old computer was falling behind a little bit, and it might actually be running at, no, that should be running at Gen 4 speeds. I think I have it in Gen 4 slot. Loading Overwatch. This one was the slowest of the bunch, and there's less difference between most of them. Game recording, they're all identical. Well, I mean, one of them is a little bit on the low side, but basically identical. Installing games, small, very small difference. So where in what test will you see a significant difference? When you're moving a game from one SSD to another, assuming they're all Gen 4, Gen 5, whatever, all operating at the same speed. Well, I should say Gen 5. You're going to notice the biggest difference. Look at that, 4,500 megabytes per second. That is really fast. The other ones are like 3,000. But when are you going to be transferring files? So what's my point with this? That you don't need Gen 5. Gen 4 is going to be fast enough 99% of the time. We just can't even utilize the bandwidth properly yet. You're not going to see a significant difference in loading a game, installing games, running games on your computer. Why did I put in my computer? I guess as a way to test it and see if there was a point to it. And why not latest and greatest for a similar price overall? That's why I chose that particular SSD, actually. There are more expensive ones that more use the bandwidth. So that brings us to the end of this video. I know I had several caveats in there about explaining my position. I can test the hardware. I understand some basic fundamentals, but I know I'm not an expert on this sort of topic. But I do like to run my own personal hardware through a couple tests to make sure that operates in line with what professional reviewers out on the internet who specialize in this sort of thing also got in their tests. So I can verify that what I bought is operating exactly as it should be. If you like the kind of content I'm creating, please think about joining me as a YouTube member or as a Patreon. YouTube member is a little bit easier for me these days. If you have suggestions for videos, topics you'd like me to try to cover, please add in the comment section down below. Note that this channel is not particularly well funded, so buying stuff is a little bit on the difficult side, but I'm always trying to look into things. Other than that, I'm mostly into fan testing, so if you want to learn and see the different computer fan models that are out on the market and which one is the best to buy, please check out my other videos. Anyways, thank you very much for watching my video. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time here on Computer Tech and More.